Hi friends, welcome to Soulful Spinning. This is my channel where I share my creative journey with the fiber arts, mainly knitting, spinning, weaving, fleece preparation, yarn collecting, fleece collecting, all the fiber related hobbies. Because really, collecting is almost a hobby in and of itself, isn't it? Today is the 8th of December 2023, and this is sort of my December Vlogmasy videos. I put one out last Friday, and I plan on putting one out every weekend up to Christmas, and then hopefully in the new year, also continuing to post every couple of days here on the channel. The name of the channel is Soulful Spinning because making things with your hands, creating art, is good for the soul. So hence the name Soulful Spinning. So thank you so much for joining me today and coming over for a visit, because that's truly how I feel, though I can hide the mess. Thank you for all your kind comments and messages. I have the nicest and kindest viewers in YouTube land, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So in today's episode, I want to give you an update on my hand-spun Felix cardigan. I had a spontaneous cast on, sort of a whimsical cast on this week that I want to share with you. It's got some spinning to share with you, spindle support spinning and wheel spinning. And what else? And then of course, future dream knitting. I found a pair of socks I want to make so bad. I think I'm going to cast those on today actually. And then from my yarn stash, treasures from my stash, I have some very luxurious yarn, and I wanted your opinion on what I might make with it. All right, so let's get started with my Felix. So I have been spinning, I had spun a Coopworth Cross roving that I bought at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival it was in September. I spun it all, and I've been making this cardigan. This is actually I think I can try it on for you in progress here, because the body is done. And I'm working on the tubular bind off, which is proving to be very fiddly, but I really want to do the tubular bind off. I think it looks really nice with this pattern. So I made the second size. I think my gauge, you're supposed to have 14 stitches per 4 inches, and I think I have a little bit fewer. So I went ahead, and as I started it, I tried it on, and I thought, oh, second size is going to be perfect. So show you the back. This is hand spun singles, and you can see my inconsistencies. You know, when you spin a singles yarn, you have the risk of a lot more inconsistencies in the yarn. But overall, it's pretty consistent. Like, it's not wildly different in gauge or anything. So I am continuing to work on this. Let me see if I can get you. You can see the little. You can see that it was a gray fleece, over dyed with shades of cranberry. It's 85% wool and 15% bamboo, and it sort of has that fuzzy, sort of unspun roving type of fuzziness to it. It's much. Sorry, where's my microphone? Okay, sorry about that. It's definitely softer than, say, Let Lopi, which is one of the yarns that's recommended for the pattern. So I am going to continue to work on the tubular bind off. So I've learned how to do the tubular cast on last week, and I learned how to do the bind off. After watching numerous YouTube videos, I found one in particular that really helped me understand where I am in the 4-step process. So basically you're doing a grafting method on its own stitches and creating sort of a tube. So there's what was the website? A Blue Mouse Craft, something like that. I'll put the name of that channel right below. And the young gal in that video really helped me understand that your first two steps in the process are dealing with the knit stitches, and then the second two are dealing with the purl stitches, and you can sort of see where you are in the pattern. I actually had, I think I third time was a charm. I started it twice, messed it up, and I don't know if you've ever undone a sewn binding before. It was not fun. Luckily, I was only a few stitches in, so I was able to unpick. The only problem is that this yarn is a singles yarn, and of course, singles yarn is not as durable as a plied yarn. However, because the staple length was fairly long in this wool, I'm not having any trouble with breakage or anything. But you need such a long strand of yarn to sew with. You need 3 to 4 times the length of the garment, of the edge, and so I sort of have to hold it double. So we'll see how ratty the yarn looks at the end of the bind off. I thought I could spit slice fresh yarn, maybe, if I feel like the yarn's really getting worn from all the abrasion from going in and out of the stitches. I might use a little bit more fresh yarn. We'll see. It's just a little kick around cardigan that I'd like to finish for Christmas, since it is kind of festive. So that's my Felix. Coming along. Once I get this bind off done, in for a penny, in for a pound. I'm going to just proceed. I'm going to do the button band. I actually thought of doing the collar next and the button band, and then doing the sleeves, because I think if I do the sleeves, I don't know, the sleeves are such a slog, but the button band I'm a little nervous about. I've actually never done a button band before, so I've been watching a lot of videos on how to do that, and then of course there's the tubular bind off on the button band. I don't know, I might give it up at that point and just do just bind off in pattern. We'll see, because you want it done. I don't want it just languish because I don't want to do the fiddly thing. Yeah, do you ever do that? You ever put aside a project because you get to the point in the project where you have to do this thing that you don't particularly feel confident in, and maybe you don't know how to do it, and you kind of put it off on the side. But I do want to finish that cardigan this winter. So every episode I always talk about my dog, Peaches. Peaches is 14 and a half. And longtime viewers, of course, know all about Peaches. Well, we bought Peaches a real cute little coat. It's an orange coat, because she's older now and it's quite cold here in the Chicagoland area in the winter. And she likes her walkies, but we were thinking that she should have a little insulation, extra insulation. So I cast on a doggy jumper. And here it is. I'm calling this a puppy shrug, the Puppy Shrug Club jumper. I don't know if you follow Jackie from Caddy Jack's Knits, but she has a series of Saturday Club shrugs, and there are these 1x1 ribbed. Some of them are striped in various ways. It's when I cast this on, it reminded me of that. The yarn I'm using is some hand spun from last year. It's a Black Welsh Mountain. It was a 100-gram little bump of fiber I bought from Hearthside. Last year I did a little breed study on different breeds of yarn. And it's such a beautiful wool. It has a very robust, crunchy feel, but not in an unpleasant way. I think hairy yarn like Icelandic or some mohair, some alpacas, things that are hairy, those tend to irritate my skin more than just a good wool. So this is what I have here. I cast it on, and the pattern is one of Stephen West's puppy jumpers. I think it's West Knits #1. There's a whole ebook of patterns. I only bought the one. He has one that's just striped and stockinette. He's got this one it's called a faded ribbed dog sweater, where he uses 2 skeins of DK weight and fades them. I'm just doing stripes. He has a brioche one. He has like one with like a bubble knits. It's really cute. He's got the cutest little French bulldogs. And so I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to cast on this for my girl. So I am knitting. What size am I knitting? I have my iPad right here. Here's there's his dogs and their sweaters. It's the faded rib pup sweater. DK weight, 1x1 rib. So it is a labor of love because it's 1x1 rib. I'm making the 5th size, which is supposed to fit a 26-inch girth. So I measured my dog, and her neck was 16 inches, and her girth, which is the widest part, the girth is the chest measurement, was 26. So I'm making the 5th size, which would be a finished size. Oh no, I misspoke. I measured her neck loosely to be 14, her girth to be 24. And so the 5th size has a finished neck of 16 inches and a girth of 26. And because it's ribbing, I figure it's going to, have a lot of, it'll be nice and stretchy over her head and everything. So I have finished the yoke increases. Here, they're in between these 2 stitch markers. And all the little colorful yarns are spindle spun scraps, little samples that I had in my stash. So I'm working on, this is the last one I did. I think this is a Shetland, was from a fade pack. No, not a fade pack. It was from a little Bach pack from Hilltop Cloud, as was this raspberry pinky color. I think that's going to be my next stripe. So I'm going to do the chartreuse. I'm going to knit the same. I think this is about 2 inches, and then I'm going to do, I think, 2 stripes of this blue, and then go back into the chartreuse and end with the pink, I think. And it's really, the pattern's brilliantly written, very clear, as all Stephen West patterns are. I mean, he really holds your hand, walks you through every single step, leaves nothing to your imagination. Like, he just really spells everything out perfectly. He even has short rows that you do on the back of the sweater, so the bottom of the sweater stays the same length and the back is longer to keep your dog warm. But yeah, I was having a lot of fun rummaging in my stash. I also have some others though that I was thinking. I've got some yellow. I've got this lavender color. I've got another green. But I'm just winging the colors. But the wool is just has my heart. I just love it. I really want to make a real sturdy cardigan out of Black Welsh Mountain. I think it would be so lovely. This yarn I spun using Paula Simmons' softly spun technique, where you just let it spin itself. And you're spinning softly for speed. I did a review of that book last year. I'll try to find that video and put it underneath in the description. But I just spun it long draw And I tried to do it without looking, just unsupported, just spinning it. So I'm thinking I might want to get a sweater quantity of this roving to make a sweater. And I love working with raw wool, spinning it and knitting it into projects, but it is a lot of work. So I think getting a roving from a small mill or a shepherd as opposed to comb top, I really like roving for long draw spinning, which is my preferred method. And what I especially liked about this as I was knitting with it, and this 1x1 rib, is the way these color pops just showed up against this black, almost black yarn, Black Welsh Mountain. It's I think it's Black Welsh Mountain. I'll put a link below. You can Google it. I think it's considered one of the down breeds because it's from the hilly mountainous regions. And it has some down wool characteristics. I think with the spiral crimp, a very hardy wool. And the wool that I'm going to get from Witchwood on Etsy is actually a British source. She said that these sheep live on someplace in England and aren't subject to the harsh conditions of the Welsh mountains. So I'm hoping, I ordered 500 grams and then I ordered an extra 100 grams. So that's going to be my January spin. And I thought I would take you along with that project, spinning that up very fast, spinning it into a 2-ply woolen spun yarn like I have here, and then finding the perfect pattern for almost like a jacket with buttons or something. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. And then maybe I'll even put some stripes along the sleeve, so I'll match Peaches. We'll have matching sweaters. I think that would be a lot of fun. So that has been a quick and easy knit, and I'm really enjoying it. And I've tried it on her, and she's fine. She's like, no, put it on me. It's wool. I think she's going to tolerate it very well because it's the coat tends to be a little bit heavy and it's got Velcro and you got to get it around her. But the sweater is just just swish it on her. It's a lightweight warmth, and so hopefully that will keep her warm this winter when we take our walks. So that was my spontaneous cast on. So what else has been going on? Let's talk about dream knitting. There's a designer whose name is Charlotte Stone. I believe she Stone Knits on Instagram and Ravelry. And Charlotte designs colorwork sock patterns that are utterly and totally captivating and charming. And she has a pattern out called the Hot Cocoa Socks. It's Friday, December 8th, and till the end of the day today, you get the pattern for 20% off, which is under $5, $5 US. So I went ahead and purchased that pattern, and I want to make those socks. They're real cute. They have they have little red cups, and little snowflakes on the cups, and it's got foamy, the hot chocolate foam. And then the ribbon, it's got green and white, like candy canes, red and white candy canes. It's so, so cute. And I have a couple of ideas on what yarn I might use. So I have this Madeline Tosh yarn, and it's called Filtered Light. And it just, it's a cream base with little golden and blue, and golden and blue speckles mainly. One of her patterns, one of the samples is knit out of it's like a Christmassy speckled. And then around the cuff, for a backdrop of the cups, there's like a beige. So I found this yarn in my stash. This is Driftwood. Driftwood is the colorway. It's Quince & Co. 75% wool, 25% silk. This is a 50-gram hank, and it's 221 yards or 202 meters. So it's a fingering weight. So that could be the background. And then I have this red yarn, which is the lipstick colorway from Punk Rock Unicorn. This came with, the reds on camera always show a little brighter than they actually are, but it's the lipstick colorway. And I didn't use it in the MCal this year. I used a different red. And so I thought that would be nice. And that's actually the color that's in one of the kits, but the kits are like 45 euros, and I don't want to order from overseas. But I have this. This would be the cup. And then I've got this green from my stash. This is Soctopus 100% Superwash in the Emerald City color, which is, so that's one option I have for my cup of cocoa socks. Does anybody want to join me for an informal knit along? We have a couple of weeks to Christmas, and I think they would be perfect for post-Christmas too. You know, you could wear them through January, even into February, all winter really. So that's one of my colorway options. The other one that really appealed to me though was the, it was like a brown color. I think the colorway, the Punk Rock Unicorn was like black cherry or something, but it almost looked like a chestnut color. I don't have anything like that in my stash, but I do have this skein of Madeline Tosh. This is Twist Light, which is 75% merino, 25% nylon, 420 yards. And the colorway here is ginger. So I thought rather than, and the one that's all solid colors with just the color work is you do the toes and the cuffs in the same color. So what do you think? That for the body of the sock, this still for the cup, the green, you know, for the candy cane, and then I'll need a white. So I thought I could still use this filtered light color for the fluffy whipped cream on the, I just need a teeny tiny bit. Or I could go old school. I've got this Peyton's little hank of sock yarn in my stash. I thought I could do that for the whipped cream. But I think this would be really fun in the whipped cream because you'd see like little speckles, like maybe they'd be like little confetti speckles. So I'm leaning towards this one. You know, knitting the whole sock in the gold and then doing the color work. So, I don't know. I have to figure it out. So I don't want to, I really want like a chestnut color or maybe a butterscotch, like a darker brown. But I think this would be really nice. So I think I might, what do you think? This one with the gold, the ginger body, or this one with the white speckled body in the background of the tan. So would have posted the little images here so you could see. Which one do you think I should cast on? I'd love to get your opinion. So that's dream knitting. Yeah, I just filmed last week, so I haven't gotten a loads done. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about spinning. So I was going through my spindle projects, and I have this one here. That I want to show you. And I've got an idea for it too. So some time ago I purchased, let me get this. I purchased this sample set from Inglenook Fibers. It's ethereal blend series. It's 25% Rambouillet, 25% merino, 25% silk, 15% alpaca, and 10% tweed blend. And I spindle spun all of them but one. Here are the ones that I have finished so far. They're very fuzzy because of the alpaca content. So here are my colors. And then I finished, I've got to apply this, what I've done for these, they're tiny samples. I think it was a total of 4 ounces? Yeah, 4 ounce total, so ½ ounce each. So I'm just winding it into a center pull ball and then applying it to itself. So I've got this one still to go. This one's sort of a tan with little speckles of orange. I've got that one. I'll put it against my shirt. And then this pink one, which also needs to be applied. And then all I have left is one more little ½ ounce. So this is, you see how fluffy it is? I think it's the alpaca in there, and what is it? Alpaca, silk, merino, all the luxury fibers. Rambouillet, merino, alpaca. I think the alpaca is really giving it that fluff. And I'm spinning this on this gorgeous spindle here from Bjorn Peck. I treated myself to this spindle a couple years ago, I think. I ordered it from him from Sweden. Look at that, isn't that pretty? And then it has this bowl. So I am spinning this up on my support spindles. And I'll film a little bit of me spinning this and how I'm doing it. But essentially what I'm doing is I'm just pulling off a little bit of the fiber and then folding it over my finger and then spinning it from the tip. So because it's combed top, I don't like to spin comb top all in one direction. I like to have more of a woolen. So woolen prep fiber is more jumbled, and they cross, the fibers cross each other. So yes, I'll put in a little footage of me spinning this up. So yeah, you really want to make sure your hands don't have anything rough, because it's going to stick, because it's also the silk. Silk tends to want to stick on every little nook and rough spot on your hands. So I am going to take these yarns and I am going to combine it with this. So I've been going through my stash, as you know, if you watched me last week. I have I've been going through my stash of hand spun. This beautiful yarn here is a CVM from Fiddle No Farm, and it is so incredibly soft. I think it was a lamb's fleece because, oh my gosh, it's just like a cloud. And because it's thinner, because the fiber was finer, it just wanted to be spun a little thicker. That's wrong. Fine fibers spin thin very easily, and so that's what I did. So you can see here that's quite fine, probably fingering weight. For me, that's fine, fingering weight. So what I thought I would do is, actually I have two of these beauties. I was thinking of taking this in these little minis and making a scarf or a little shawlette. There's a pattern called the Ziggy scarf. I think I got the idea from Tashi from Stitches and Starlight, who, by the way, is doing Vlogmas. So go ahead and tune into what she's up to over there in Brooklyn. She was talking about the Ziggy scarf, and I thought, wouldn't that be pretty? These would be your little contrast colors, and then this would be the main color. And it would be luxuriously soft. So that's kind of a plan that I have for this. And so I'm going to be working on finishing up that spin this weekend. And hopefully next week I will have all that yarn spun up. But I don't want to cast on too many things, as I always say, because I want to finish my cardigan and I want to finish Peach's sweater. So I'm not really working on anything else at the minute. So what else? Yeah, I've got a lot of plans for the new year. I want to make more things that I actually need in my wardrobe. Like I do wear a lot of cardigans, so I could use a nice sturdy cardigan out of that's not store bought. The other thing I really want to make is a poncho. So I think it's Amy from the Meaningful Stitch came out with a Korean poncho pattern. It's basically just, it looks less like a raglan sweater, except it's rotated. And so you've got your increases along the center. They're evenly, it's like you make a square. The increases are evenly arranged around the circumference. I think she has some short rows in the pattern. I really would like to make some sort of poncho, maybe her pattern or some other pattern. Maybe I was thinking of making one up. There are some free patterns on Ravelry for ponchos, and I think you just basically would cast on, try it on as you go, do the increases. I mean, it can't be that tricksy to figure out. But what do you think I want to make it out of? I was thinking of making it out of some hand-spun Corriedale. So this is Gilberta, which was a half fleece that I purchased from Observatory Hill Farms in September at the Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival. And I'll give you an idea of the colors here. So it's just cream and different shades of gray. Yeah, very, very soft. Last week I showed you the brown one that is not quite as fine, and I'm spinning that one up woolen. This one I am spinning up from a worsted preparation. Here's a lock. It's really a very fine fleece, a very merino soft. And I thought it would be fun to do a poncho starting with cream and then working my way down to the darker shades, maybe putting like a garter stitch border or something on the bottom. And so I have my progress in this huge, I bought these plastic bags from Amazon in different sizes, and they're basically huge, giant Ziploc bags, but they're reusable and they have a really firm zip. So I have, I don't know if you could see all the colors here. You've just got all these different shades. Here's the darkest. And then this pale gray. Here's more of a medium. And then the white. So I thought this afternoon I would do some spinning. I have started the lightest shade here. And I've got all these little nests, all these little nests of fiber that make me so happy. There's something about combing little nests of fiber. But what do you think? I think that would be so pretty. So yeah, I'm thinking I want to make a poncho out of this. I was going to see if I can make a sweater, but I think a poncho that's not too long would be really nice and cozy just to throw on, while you're in the house or, in the slightly cool weather. So I shall be combing up some more wool and spinning that up for a little poncho. All right, so let's talk about from my stash, treasures from my stash. So I've been going through my stash and I'm finding all kinds of wonderful yarns that I have acquired over the years. And I want your opinion. This is plum knit cashmere. It's 8-ply. Each of the 50-gram hanks is 100 yards. The recommended needle size is a 9 or a 10, US 910, which is 5.5 and 6, I think. And I've got 4 of these. So I've got the 3 that are still in the hank form, and then 1 that has been wound into a ball. I think I've had this so long, it was before I even had a ball winder. So it's deep stash, probably 10 years old. So very high quality cashmere. I don't really feel any guard hairs. Just like alpaca can be super baby soft, but if you've got any guard hairs in there, they can be irritating. So just because you have something that's cashmere doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to prickle at all. But this is very, very soft. It's a hand wash, lay flat, light iron. Who's going to iron cashmere? Plum knit. I think this is discontinued. So the gauge they recommend a 5.5, 3.5 to 4 stitches per inch. So 14 to 16 per 10 centimeters. So what would you do with 100 grams of cashmere? What else has been going on? Life stuff this past week. It's been kind of an up and down week, to be honest. Life's not always a bowl of cherries, as my mother would say. But we did do a couple of Christmassy things this week. Last night, my husband and I went to a concert, and a symphony had a holiday pops concert. So they had a choir, and it was just all holiday music. And it's always wonderful to hear live music. I don't get a chance to do that very often. So we did that last night. I had a visit to my yarn shop this week, the yarn shop that's local-ish to me, and the proprietress over there has a beautiful selection of sock yarns and all kinds of beauties. She's got a great stash of Noro. She brought in a bunch of Noro yarn. And I went over there on Wednesday. I was feeling kind of lonesome and in need of, real life company. So I went over there, I grabbed a coffee at the local coffee shop, and right across the street from the coffee shop there were these beautiful decorated trees. And all these different local organizations had decorated, the Girl Scouts and different charitable organizations, the 4-H Club and so on. And I walked and I'm looking and I realized they were real trees. They had planted real pine trees, fir trees, along this little section of the square, and they've decorated them beautifully. And I went into the shop. I was really looking for something for my hot cocoa socks that I didn't already have, but I couldn't find the particular shade of chestnut brown I wanted. But in doing so, there was a small little gathering of knitters that had gotten together, and on Wednesdays they have a knit day. So I grabbed my dog jumper and I went in there and I sat for an hour and I knitted and drank coffee and we had cookies, and it was so lovely talking to, I love talking to everybody on Instagram and YouTube and so on, but it's definitely more of a one-way relationship. So I really been, praying about that and my isolation and trying to make connections with people. And I thank you very much for that as well, because I know behind the camera is our real life human beings, and I talk to quite a bit. And I know that if we met in person, we'd feel simpatico, like we were friends for a long time. One of my viewers actually even sent me a song that she composed and sang, and I just my heart is full with all my lovely, lovely comments and viewers, and so I thank you very much for that. So I did that. So I think every Wednesday I'm going to go over there. I'm a little shy. I think sometimes I don't want to always put myself out there, but yeah, it was just like a prayer answered, I think. So I did that. It's Friday today, this afternoon. I have a request for pumpkin bread, so I'm going to make a pumpkin loaf this afternoon. My butter is softening upstairs as I record this. And yeah, just doing some holiday baking today and going to enjoy the weekend. Do some spinning, do some knitting. I hope this holiday season is finding you well. I hope you're finding joy and peace and calm in your life and in your heart this season. So until next weekend, friends, take care, and we'll talk to you very soon. Bye for now. I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my